Hey guys, I haven't been on my booktube in a while, and I wanted to come on here and just share a story about how I became a lover of the written word and just give you that journey. I know with a lot of booktubers, they do a lot of hauls and things like that. I don't buy a lot of things. I usually go to the library first to see if I like it, and I have to actually really, really love it. And I know I'm going to read it over and over again to invest in the hardback. So I don't have big bookshelves or things like that, but that's okay. I am still a reader. But the way I just loved the written word was I've always been kind of a very shy and introverted young lady as a child, and that's all I did. The earliest memory I have is my dad buying the Charlie Brown dictionaries, and I'm going to insert a picture right here if I can find it online. But yeah, and he would go through the whole entire dictionary, A through Z, so I can learn different words. And I loved it. Like, I didn't see it as work. I really, really enjoyed it. And that started my love for reading books. Now, obviously, when I was born, I didn't have the eye disease that I had. I got that much later on in life in my late 30s. But when I was young, just a great memory with my dad going through that Charlie Brown dictionary, learning new words, learning how to put them in sentences. So that just kind of helped me develop wanting to read. Now, when I was really, really young, when I was in preschool, started about to start kindergarten, for some reason, I decided not to speak. I stopped speaking, or I was having a really, really hard time, like tripping over my words. I became very self conscious even at a young age, and I was in speech therapy. So, and I think that's why my dad did the dictionary thing too, to kind of help with me learning my diction, slowing down, not tripping over my words, not stuttering, because I did have a stutter as well. But I was in speech therapy at St. Teresa. It was a Catholic school. But anyway, so I did speech therapy, and just being a quiet kid, not having a lot of friends, just being at home all the time, I was able to just escape into books. So I read everything. And as I got older, my teenage years, still very shy, very quiet, very few friends, if any, did not hang out. My best friends basically was my family. I come from a big family. I'm the oldest of 5 kids. So I'm Gen X. I just, as the oldest child, I was just watching my siblings, and my peaceful time to myself was reading, and it really was an escape to go to different places that I didn't have the courage to go to, or just like learning new things, or I just threw myself into books. Now, as a kid too, didn't really have cable. We had, after school, we watched PBS. Didn't have commercials, but was public broadcasting system or something. But I watched Sesame Street, and I watched Reading Rainbow. And Reading Rainbow was my jam. LeVar Burton, I remembered him from the miniseries Roots. That's where I remember him from, which really impacted me. And as a young child, I wanted to read Roots, and I did. And I also read Queen after that. But it was he was the host, and he really engaged with me. It was really cool. They gave you ideas of different books. It's like Reading Rainbows, kind of like what booktube is, but kids did it. They gave you book reviews and book suggestions and all that stuff. So I was totally, totally hooked on that show. And I absolutely, me and the library were like this. When actually I was in middle school, I actually volunteered at my local library until I could get an actual job. And if I didn't do that, there was a librarian there that took me under her wing and suggested to my parents to get me enrolled into a private school and get a scholarship for me to go. And they did, and I went. And I graduated from that private all girls school, private school. But anyway, so I did that all through college. I used to read books like constantly. I could read like 4 books at once and not get the plots mixed up or anything. I knew where I was, and I read them pretty fast. Now, fast forward to my adulthood. Ironically, um, I was in a really bad car accident because all of a sudden I lost all my central vision. I didn't see anything. And I went to the eye doctor, went to the doctor. They didn't put two together. It took me a couple of months to even go seen at an eye doctor. Went to an eye doctor, realized something was wrong with my macula, went to a specialist, and that's when I got my diagnosis in 2016, August 2016. And I was so heartbreaking. Now, I had shelves and shelves and shelves of all kinds of books. I went through a period when I couldn't use my central vision. I couldn't really see the written word anymore. I threw all my books away. Didn't give them away. I was so angry. I threw them away. And I went through a period of becoming illiterate. I didn't read anything. I was just depressed about my diagnosis. And I finally got treated for my depression, got services through the state for the blind and visually impaired services, and I had a social worker, and I learned different things, got different accessible tools. I got to learn Braille, which I'm still learning, and I got to learn how to use my peripheral vision in a better way. So I started going back into reading now. I don't read as fast as I used to, and audiobooks are my friend, but I still consider myself a reader using audiobooks. It's just a different way of me to consume it, and I'm okay with that. I had to let go of a lot of things to let go of that bitterness of my blindness or my visual impairment or whatever, my disability, whatever you want to call it. But now I use the magnifier and I read very slow. I can't read multiple books in a week. I usually read a book a month. That's how I can digest it. And now I'm learning how to read Braille, which is a very, very slow and complex process, but I'm not giving up. And how to read with my touch and my fingertips, which is really, really cool. But that's how I love the written word. It's deep in my DNA. I love the way words are put together and can create a story and just make my creativity and imagination go wild. So tell me your story. I don't want to hear about your book hauls or what you guys, bought or, anything like that. I want to know, how did you fall in love with reading? Why do you read books? What's your story?